Hey, welcome to On the Record with Chaii, a Play It Strange podcast. I'm Chaii, artist, producer, creative director, and a Play It Strange alumni. We're here to unpack different corners of the music industry, one step at a time. Let's go. Z, aka WHOSHOTSCOTT, is pushing experimental hip-hop with raw energy and fearless emotion. His Mercy EP trilogy and chart-topping song Loner's Anthem have earned international attention, and he's taken his explosive live show from opening for Snoop Dogg to headlining Australasia. Here's our chat with WHOSHOTSCOTT.
What's up?
Thanks for coming today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Just have some chats today.
Yeah, legendary. I'm so excited.
Because
it's going to be high convos, no doubt. High level. From you.
High.
From not so much from
no,
me.
You're up here. Okay. Let's get into
that
it.
Classic Kiwi humility coming through.
Yeah, now we're all up here, okay? What you're amazing at, and I love, it's many things. You're across a lot of things in your work, and as part of being an artist, producer. If I list it, we'll be here for a while. Today would be awesome to talk about some of the branding side of what you do, and you've done some amazing things when it comes to that. You entered the industry as a duo, and then since then have gone solo under the name WHOSHOTSCOTT. Can you tell us that transition and reshaping your creative identity?
Yeah, I think so my duo was like my high school project that just followed on into uni, and we sort of like, we were friends and just making music, just having fun sort of thing. People started kind of listening to it. People started booking us for festivals. Like we played Rhythm and Vines when we were like 18 years old, which was crazy. It's like, and then we're like, oh, maybe this is like real. Maybe people actually want to invest in this. But anyway, I did the duo thing for like maybe 5-6 years. I can't remember exactly how long it was, because again, it came from high school, but that sort of came to an end. Unfortunately, that friendship also came to an end. But like, as people grow and stuff, things move. And I had like a chance there for the first time in my life obviously being in a group, there's a lot of great things about that too. There's collaboration, and there's like, it comes with its own sort of pros and cons. But I was feeling, especially at the end of that I was being limited in terms of creative vision and how I sort of viewed myself, and also just wanting to like represent myself and not necessarily represent something that's not like, as in like, be responsible for someone else, basically,
Yeah.
So it was very liberating when I got the chance. I actually hit around COVID, like COVID hit, and I started writing songs and just writing without compromise, not like really thinking about commercial outcomes or any outcomes really. I actually was writing just songs to send to like my one friend, and so all the songs had like really personal stories in them, and they were like really like just like so niche that it's not, I always thought, I was like, oh, this is just for my friend. And then I sent it to my manager, because he was still managing me from the group, and he was like, whoa, these are like so strange and different and whatnot. And so we're like, okay, so like screw it, like we'll just release these and see how it goes. And yeah, after that, I was very liberated, because it was like, for the first time in my life, it was like, whoa, my ideas, like the stuff that really is honest and came from a place of, non-conformity and being really vulnerable and stuff, was actually like accepted. And I hadn't experienced that forever in my life. I was actually, even my upbringing and stuff was quite like, I was suppressed a lot, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was really cool. It was like a really beautiful thing. And I'm just happy that like I've been able to keep scaling and growing it and building it into something that's now actually turned into something beautiful and artistic, but also actually like a career for myself, which is
business brand.
Totally. Totally. So it's like kind of quite holistic for me. Both of those things kind of go hand in hand in a lot of ways, which sometimes can hurt, but also is like it's also like a beautiful thing, get to do what we love every day, which is great.
Exactly. Like I've loved seeing that, like the growth of it turning into a brand and a business, but you've still kept very honest and genuine with what you're making. You're still in that headspace.
Totally.
As you were. You can tell it's like you're still super creative. You're not worrying about, but it's the brand, it's a business.
Yeah.
You've upped both sides and
I think
staying authentic, which is key.
I think that like what happened there is that like I kind of was very stubborn, and I kind of like forced myself to make my brand very honest to who my 3-year-old self was, like my 3-year-old like unhinged, like myself. Like that's my brand now. And so it's like, cool, I can never really go wrong now because I've set the rules, you know, the foundations, the parameters of what WHOSHOTSCOTT is whatever the heck I want it to be.
It's almost like we set those limitations on ourselves. Like there is no such thing as like, oh, you have to have this one sound or this one, because I can highly like super relate to you on that side. It's just like, you do however you want it to be, what your brand is. It could be like different sides to you.
Yeah.
And showing that is like having that space to express that and still be accepted for it is such a nice feeling of well worth just being yourself and being
and sustainable. And that's the most, you're not faking anything. You're really just being yourself and showing up, and like that's a very easy. And then you sort of like tick all those boxes. People like, I guess a lot of people think, oh, how can I try to make this sound more sincere or more authentic? It's like, no, you don't have to try to do that. You should just be able to be expressing, you know, and it should be coming naturally. And you're totally, you know, even your music and stuff is like such a, what is the word I'm looking for? Like the epitome of that as well, you know, like, it's so expressive in that. Just
be proud of what you make and not try. I think both of us, it goes for both of us, just like not trying to fit in. Or like not trying to fit in. Well, how do I say it? It's like
unapologetic.
We haven't unapologetic. We haven't cared about like what's, you know, what's cool, what's on the radio, I mean, as far as I remember, like bringing culture into your music. Like when I did Play It Strange, when I was in high school, I did it in Farsi and Persian. I did English, Persian, French, and made a beat.
That's so cool.
And I really like took the strange thing, and I was like, oh, this
I'm gonna do it.
And it was not cool. Like, bringing in your culture with different languages weren't cool.
Not back then, eh?
But I'm so happy I did that. Like, just bringing that authenticity and like just not, even till this day, it's just like there's like no world outside of it. You're just like in your own bubble, and I feel that with your music is like,
thank you.
It's like always creative. I'm always excited to hear what you do next, because it's just like, I know you just,
I mean, hats off to you for having cracked it. Thank you. Hats off to you. Thank you. And hats off to you for cracking that like so early on, because I was the opposite. I was in high school, I was like the most scared to be myself. I conformed so heavy. I like had an accent that wasn't mine. It was like very Kiwi put on, but my accent sounds like this. It's like a hybrid of like Arabic and English Kiwi, and it's like American. It's like, what? Because I watched so many movies growing up. Like that's like where I connected. So yeah, like props to you for like having that. No, like this is who I am, like early on, because it took me a long time to like accept that.
Which is, I think, for that time also, for our generation, it was very normal to not. And it's so nice to see everyone just expressing themselves, whether it's culturally, whether it's in language, whether it's like the sound of their music, whether it's mixing genres into each other. And you've done that a lot, which is amazing. Like I couldn't put like a genre on your music. I'm like, who is he gonna be the next release? Which is amazing. Like that's awesome. It's still you, but it's like what side of you is gonna wake up? In the next release?
It's interesting to hear it from like a third person, because for me it's all just like coming out of me. Like it's all just like it's all just like, I don't think about it in genres or anything. I'm just like, hey, this feels good, so I'm just gonna lean into what feels good. Just always feelings based.
And just in terms of like releases, and when you're putting out music, what does your release plan look like?
So I believe in the vacuum of the creative process very strongly. I create and I like kind of shut out the world. I kind of like, even I had to learn this process, this workflow, but like even like call my manager, who's like probably my most the closest collaborator on like the release and business side, call him up, hey man, next month I am locked in. I am not and it's even like I kind of like set boundaries with like my friends and stuff. So I lock in and I sort of just create really freely without, that's how you get that, for me at least, that's how I get that like pure expression. And then whatever I have at the end of that, I'm like, cool, this is an EP, this is maybe an album, or just whatever body of work. And then it's like quote unquote business decisions, which are always led by the artistic intention anyway, sort of come to play after that. And that's when I start off very vulnerable, very much just like an artist, and then there's a flip. There's a point where it's like, okay, cool, now art's made, the kids have had fun. I always think about it like I was playing, I was in the playground, the kid has had fun, he's played around in the playground. Now it's time to see how can we execute this and put it out, because I believe that like releasing music, finishing and releasing music are really important for two things: for sustainability, but also so that you can work on the new stuff that you're going to make, so that the cycle can just keep going. So for me, once that's done, I sort of link up with my team of like people that I've worked with, who I kind of like, just my loyal collaborators, like, you know, Connor Pritchard on the videos, and High on, you know, a lot of things, like he's my DJ, but he also like helps me like finding like styling options and stuff, and like creating the world and stuff like that. And yeah, just like, you know, getting that sort of visual world together, and then figuring out, then it's like sort of up to me from a branding standpoint, like, or usually I go to the music, what's the story that the music is telling, and then I create, you know, a narrative. You know, branding is like visuals and narrative and music and everything coming together, and like the language of it all. And yeah, for me, that's like the conceptual part, and then yeah, just like start releasing, and you know, work with my team as well. You know, I'm lucky to have a small, very small team. Like we're not doing anything on a major scale, but I like it that way. I like it really low key, just between us. We kind of get to decide release dates. We get to decide how we want to do it. Make sure that it's like super, just, you know, just consistent, and that there's momentum, and that we're building, you know, the story. Basically, it's like a story over a year, or a story over a year and a half. You know, it's like, yeah. So it's definitely like stacking like artworks, like having the pieces ready, getting them as good as possible, really being uncompromising on that, and then the shift, and then finally release, and yeah, then, you know, obviously the other things that come with that, like
Post release,
yeah, like, you know,
keep the momentum,
the marketing. Yeah, I do like I don't know if people would know this or not, but I do all my online marketing, and I stay in, you know, touch with all of my, like, you know, people that sort of come on board that from the marketing. I like communicate with them and stuff. So yeah, just trying to use the data that comes in and like continuously like build up, you know.
Yeah. And that's a lot of work, and I love how you I do the same, where it's like separate the playground from, because once you do into that, it's a lot of work. Like you're across, you're talking to the marketing team, you're talking to your close, you know, skeleton crew of people you're working with. Like you're across everything, because the idea is everything started from the playground. I'm gonna keep using your playground analogy, but everything started there, so it has to make sense to that. Do you think to try keep it consistent and make sure across all things, so across the release, the marketing, everything that would make sense with the music, how important do you think it is that you're across all of that?
The most important thing. It always starts with the artist, right? You have to be like kind of I don't want to make it sound so corporate, but like the CEO of your whole operation. Like you have to know, and then you can get a bit more spiritual with it, but you have to know yourself. You know, you have to really know yourself to know what your music is about, because it's like a diagram that just like, if it starts with you at the core, I'll make sure I'm getting the mic in here. If it starts with you at the core, you have to then go and explain that vision to the people around you. And the more you know it, the better they're going to get it. And then they are going to, maybe someone in your team has to go then talk to PR people or something, and they have to know your vision. And naturally, as it goes further out from you, it's going to dilute a little bit. The messaging does dilute, but the more you know it from its central place, and the more you constantly communicate it to people, the less likely it is to sort of turn into something that's completely directionless.
Because you know, it means a lot, like the things that you pour out and you're making, and obviously you don't want that warping and turning into something else, because you've just done so much to bring that authenticity to it. And then but I 100% agree, the more you know it. So to, you know, artists starting out and stuff, would you say, like, you know, just that first step is probably one of the most important before you start thinking about the release plan and the marketing and the, you know, the more you're excited about I'm going to call it the world that you want to be living in for that release, then all the other things, obviously they're as important to get your music across to people, but you also don't want it to put the focus just on that, where it changes the origins of it.
I think
I love how you
you're right. I think that's very important. I think also just knowing, and this is something I realize a lot of artists don't talk about a lot, but like knowing what you want your career to look like. Like some people are like, I just want to be famous. Like I just want, like, what do you actually want? Like think about.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
No. Sorry, I'm not saying that from a judgmental place.
I know
I'm saying that from that's a great goal, but how do you actually get there? You know, and so like kind of like having a bit of like okay, maybe I won't be here in 5 years, but here's where I'd like to be in 5 years. Cool, let's work backwards from there. Here's where I'd like to be in 10 years. Here's where I'd like to be in 15 years, you know, and like just knowing what a career looks like, because there's so many different styles of career in the music industry and ways to be sustainable. And it's not always the Justin Bieber route or the Dua Lipa route. You know, it can be so many other ways. And maybe you're happy just being, you know, like a Tame Impala or like a, you know, something else. Like it's
I want to be A, B, C, D, E, F.
yeah.
G level.
G level, yeah. Yeah, so I think like knowing yourself, and then even by proxy of that, like knowing what kind of career path you want, if you even want a career in the first place. Some people love making music and they think that maybe that's like, oh, cool, now I need to have a career. No, maybe if you like music, you can have a job and you can just make music and that's fun. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that either. But if you want to have a career, then there's kind of like a, what's it called? Like a sequence of events that you can kind of follow. You can look around and you can sort of see, you know, other people's sort of structures. And obviously it'll never be one for one. It'll never apply directly to you, but you can just learn about like the ways. I like to think about it as like a mountaintop. And there's so many different ways up. You know, you don't have to follow someone's exact path, but
it's nice to be inspired or as a reference have other people's how they're doing things, I guess, as well. Especially when you're younger and you're still figuring yourself out.
Yeah,
you know, you're still like you're making music and you're expressing yourself, but it might be hard to like envision yourself of who am I or what do I actually want. I think. Would you say it's a good way to maybe, like you said, like have a reference point, like maybe look at like what speaks to you, and like when you look at someone else's path and you're like, oh, actually, like that is similar to something I think I might want to it's a do or be on.
Yeah,
maybe that's
it's a good starting point. And perhaps just being open to along the journey realizing, oh, hey, actually the thing I thought I wanted when I first started isn't actually the thing I want, because I didn't realize it comes with all this other stuff that's actually like really hardcore. So maybe actually I just like doing this. Like I can fully speak to myself here. When I was like 18, 19 years old, I just wanted to be like a rapper. Like I wanted to have the private jets. I wanted to be like a baller, like the cat, like 50 Cent
Gold
and that.
chain.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I loved 50 Cent. When 50 Cent came out, was like unbelievable to me. So I grew up on that era of like G-Unit spinners and like, you know, that sort of thing. So my childhood dream was like that. Now that I'm a human and a grown person, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, maybe I actually don't want the private jets and the spinning chain, but what I have right now is awesome. I get to create music uncompromised. I get to produce for other artists, which is like amazing for me. It's like one of my favorite things to do is like producing and writing with other artists, big or small. And that's, you know, as you go on, you have to be, and maybe 10 years from now, I'll look at things and be like, oh, hey, actually, you know, I enjoy, maybe I'll just start my own little artisanal little record label and we'll just, you know, do this and do that. And like as you go, you sort of discover that there's more than just being a star. You know, there's like, it's a beautiful industry to be in. Honestly, it is beautiful, but it's just, it's gonna be, it's hard work no matter which way you, that is it. That thing is like,
but then
when
you industry. See like massive people, like famous people, it's just like this.
Yes.
That doesn't stop.
It's so interesting that you do. Did we talk about that in our session? Because I always do this as well.
No, we
this
didn't
is my
actually,
thing.
No, I was going to say you're a brother from another mister.
Yeah, we must be, because
I think so.
that thing. It's actually not just. It's not
the
just
highs, the lows.
It's not just this. It's actually this, and then you keep going. But the overall
like
trajectory is up. Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy because you have to know that when it's up, it's going to go down.
Yeah.
And be prepared for that. And when it's down, it's going to go up again. Like you have to just be prepared mentally for that perspective, because it's just how it goes. It's like for a reason, just the nature of the industry. It's like this is not your normal industry. You're not being an accountant. You're not coming into accountant world. You know, you're coming into like crazy messed up musician industry.
Hectic.
But there are rules to it. There are ways to figure it out. But just be like mentally ready that it is going to be a lot of.
I love that because our downs now is my up probably a few years ago. That's the thing.
Exactly.
It's just like, even when it is down, I'm like, actually, it's still way better than what it was a year ago, 2 years ago. So keeping it perspective on
totally.
that. Yeah.
And like adding diversity to your arsenal so that when it is down, when one thing, adding many different things so that like if you're like a artist, if all you're doing is being art, maybe you have other sources of income or something, so that when maybe your artist thing is down, your producer thing is up, and when maybe your producer thing is down, your artist thing is, and just having multiple diverse sort of streams of income to keep yourself sustainable is probably
it's sustainable, and it builds a community, I feel, as well, because if you offer your services and it's a two-way street, so you're like, you know, you're producing for people, you're creative directing people's videos, or like while you do your own music, you're building a community of like, hey, I've got services to get, you know, I've got things to give as well. It's not just like take,
Yes,
which
yes.
builds a very strong, nice
100%.
community, I feel, which
100%.
is such a good feeling.
Totally.
What can artists be doing to present themselves in an impactful and like a consistent way?
Wow. Pretty.
Maybe like artists that are just starting out. What would you say, or to yourself? When
I think that thinking sort of maybe. There's a couple of things. I guess you could work on, if it's music, for example, work on a body of work. Don't maybe make your first song and like release it straight. Oh, great, I got one. Release it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, damn, now I have to like follow that up, but I have nothing. Maybe like work for, and I know it sounds hard sometimes, but like 6 months to a year on like just getting things ready, you know, being a bit ahead of it so that you can be consistent and not sort of fall behind. Creating sustainable practices for whatever you're creating. If it's something you're sharing online, like make sure that you can do it all the time. Make sure it's not like a big chore. Like if it's something that you can fund sustainably, great. Because like consistent. I hate to be the guy that says this, but consistency is key, right? Like it's always that's what's going to build. People don't sometimes like get a vision straight away, but they get it like 6 months down the track. So having that sort of long-term thinking is probably, it's more of a perspective thing, you know, just like kind of going into it right from the jump that, hey, this is like you know, this is where I'll be at a year from now, and even then this is like a part of a bigger 5-year plan, and trying to just like fill in the sort of dots. Like that's how I do it. Like my brain works like that. I'm like, cool, that's where I want to be then. Cool, how do I work my way back from that? And then it makes sense, right? Like that's how you should do it. And also just a part of that is like realizing that like it takes a long, if you're wanting to be an artist that breaks, it takes 5-10 years, you know what I mean? It might even take longer, and just like being ready for that, you know, being ready that, hey, I'm here to like make this happen, and not just have that be like empty words, but really show that with your actions, and like show up consistently and create stuff that you're proud of, and you know,
develop your skills,
and maybe don't be too precious. That's another thing. Is sometimes when you're starting out, it's easy to be like, oh, but it needs to be perfect. But what is perfect? You know, if we wasted all our time trying to be perfect, we'll probably never release anything. So it's like, you know, release when it feels right. If it's honest, right? Like that's another thing for me. But it's like, I don't believe in like good art, bad art. I believe in like it's either honest or dishonest. And the only person that can answer that question is the artist themselves.
Is it honest to you?
Yeah, it's honest to you. Like, is it sincere? You know, and so that's always the compass that I follow. Is like, I know sometimes I'm going to release music and people are gonna either like it or dislike it. Without sounding like too like snobby or whatever, it kind of doesn't matter if people like it or not. All that matters is that this was an honest expression. I'm going to try to put it out as best as I can. If the people that find it, like it, that's great. If not, that's fine. I understand that that's just me speaking as an independent artist who has heaps of control. I know that other people in other situations can't say that about their art, but that is an ideal place to be in.
But even like, I feel like artists that a lot of times, like obviously if you're starting out, or regardless, starting out, not starting, like at whatever stage you are, if you're independent, not independent, I think backing yourself up, even in situations of like when you are signed and stuff, there is something really powerful about just pushing your ideas and your music and that authenticity, and like when you're a force. I believe like people will would, regardless independent or not, like people will see that.
Yeah, totally.
And nothing, like you can just go boom, and do it. I feel like if you like, it's just about like backing yourself up a lot, which is something I like. It's interesting because I think there's a generalized thing of just leaving things up to other people to do it for you, and I think that takes away from like the authenticity of like what you can do, unless again like people's goals are different. Someone might be like, oh, I want my songs to be given to me, I want to be a performer, right. I want everything like done. I want to be I want to be the person to like
K-pop stars,
which is also another beautiful side to this industry. I actually genuinely find it like really interesting how there's those different angles. So it's like, I guess if like, I love that you said, just not being too precious. I think in New Zealand especially, like a lot of people like sit on really amazing music, a lot of times, and it's okay. Like if you're starting out, I guess it's okay to put out the songs and like look at that as your journey. People see it as like, they're like, whoa, like all the stuff surfacing now from artists now.
And
like, does it take Tate.
McRae?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I
her
don't
like
know.
recent one like popped up from like when she was younger. It's
Oh,
like,
wow, really?
you know,
Yeah,
like, I feel
right.
like instead of being embarrassed, it's just like everyone's just like, oh wow, this is like her
Yeah,
journey.
right,
Let's
right.
look at her journey.
And
Like,
and that's the thing is that like we're growing you're growing as a person, therefore your art grows, and to spend too long on a piece is sad when it's like 2 years later and you're like, oh damn, like I'm not there anymore. I'm still trying to express this thing. I'm trying to like finish it, but my soul isn't there. It's kind of like looking at like an old photograph of yourself. It's like I don't connect with this anymore. So having like having just a little bit more of a big sort of picture, like longer term goal is, I think, important. There's so many like there's so many like keys to like making that. Like so many like things I could say. Like I think one thing is like don't show your friends every demo you make. You know, like there's no need to do that. Like solidify it yourself. You know, be confident in the music that you've made yourself.
choices.
Yeah, I feel like a common thing with like a lot of young artists, and not just young in age, but like people that have just started out, is like they look for the validation from their friends and stuff like that, and then that kind of dictates whether they finish something or not. It's like, whoa, no, you shouldn't be. It's not sustainable. You know, it's not sustainable to be like outwardly influenced. It's
I
just,
late that. Like, figure it out. Like,
yourself. Like be honest to yourself. Be really like true to your taste and true to be a bit like. I hate to use the word again, but like be a bit stubborn with like that protection of your art. You know, like it's basically your soul on a platter. You know, so like when it feels right. You know, and if honestly, if you're doing art just for validation, you might want to reconsider why you're even in this industry, because it's like, it's not always going to be like, you know what I mean? It's just not sustainable. I feel we need to, as artists, even till today, as I'm growing and stuff, I need to be honest to myself. And that's what's kept me going. If I was, if I'll give you an example. I remember when I released my first EP, I had the song that did the best on that EP was in a certain style, right?
Yeah.
And one of my friends who's like not in the music industry at all, just like a very like works a normal job, you know what I mean? Like just outside of it all, was like, oh great, so now you know what works, so you just do that again, right? And I'm like, it's so crazy. I'm like, no, not at all. But like, it's crazy because I think back, I'm like, oh wow, if I had that sort of mentality where something worked once and it got like the quote unquote validation, again, I wouldn't have had the following songs that ended up completely outperforming. Yeah. So it's like you can't. I just,
limiting yourself to your last popped off. Kind of song.
But it's funny because that popped off back then was like it got like 300 like likes on Instagram. That was what popped off meant back then. Whereas now I've like fully changed everything. But we're doing, so you got to be like
take risks.
Yeah, take risks and be like it's never a risk when you're being honest. Because it's just you, like it's just it's a truth that no one can really take away from you,
I love that. But speaking of like authenticity and being real, has there been any time in your career where you felt that you were inauthentic, and then how did you deal with, if there was a time that you came across like you were like, oh wait, I wasn't being true to myself in that certain thing, and how did you deal with that afterwards?
Yeah, I had that a lot when I was in my old group, for sure, a lot. That was because of being in a different sort of like whole situation where it was kind of like I was my way of things, or my natural way of like being authentic wasn't able to come through because there was something else going on. So I for me, I had to sort of find myself. I kind of went through like a bit of like a typical like guy in mid-20s ego death like situation. Sorry, I just got a spat.
Spinning the bars.
Spin bars,
Spinning
I mean, it's hard these days. It's hard. It's hard to be inauthentic for me because that sounds so cocky. I'm so authentic, y'all.
You know yourself though. It's not authentic. You just know yourself better.
I was gonna say, because I do like a lot of stuff to like try to cultivate that energy. I'm very, very protective of that. I meditate every day, twice a day. Like I'm very. That's like my thing that brings me back to this like inner truth. That's like, this is like, no one can take this away from me. No matter what no matter what the industry says, I can go to all these stupid conferences and a person can tell me to do a stupid TikTok this and a TikTok. Like it just can't shake me because I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? That. Like I really believe in that. I don't know if I feel like it's an Arabic thing, low-key. Like
we're pretty stubborn.
Yeah, like stubborn. Like I know. Like I just like culturally, like I feel like I just know and I know. But also at the same time, of course, like this is gonna go back on that completely. Of course, like I'm so like diplomatic when it comes to like my team and stuff like that. Like I'll never like cut someone's wings off when they're excited about an idea or anything. I try to have, it's about finding that balance of not being like, yo, I'm right, I'm Kanye, like nobody can tell me that. No, it's like
collaborative.
It's super collaborative, super if anything, just like knowing yourself like that actually helps everyone else do their job better, because now they're working with something that's like a bit more stable, not just like a thing. So I didn't really answer the question, but I guess
but the essence of it, I think, is, as you're saying, it's like the beginning, the essence of it is the part that you're
inside. Like
it doesn't stop you from like collaborate, just being sure on yourself, and in terms of in that feeling ways doesn't stop you from collaborating. Or sometimes a lot of times, like I've been you're not always right, like,
exactly, and
like,
that's the big thing, knowing you're not always right, and like being ready for that, and being like, okay, cool, this is just another way, and sometimes being like, cool, like I have to trust someone else's experience here, or I have to like take a step back and allow that, and just being like sort of just like being like water with it, but also it's kind of that balance of like being like water, but also at the core knowing yourself and not like shaking your values or your morals when in this industry that's gonna like probably challenge it a lot, because it's very easy, especially once you start getting a bit of success, the voices from outside start getting quite loud, especially, and that's when the inauthenticity can really like creep in. But just sort of like playing the balancing act of understanding yourself, understanding the team, having trust in the team, hopefully, that's a big reason why I've sort of like the team that I've worked with for the last 5 years doing WHOSHOTSCOTT is the same exact team, like on all fronts, and there's like there's a trust now, you know what I mean, and there's no like need to try to like
moving like a unit. I feel the same. It's like we're all just on the same just wavelength. I don't even need to talk sometimes.
It's unspoken.
Circling back to so this is, I think, something that people might wonder. I think I had the same thing, but the music that you released when you were in a group, and you felt like it was not the authentic self. I think what some people would fear is like, okay, now that music lives online, right? And you've had this whole, how do you look at that, and do you look at it like, because the music lives on there? Was it just like, okay, it was like that moment, or like, how did you deal with the navigating, like, did you leave it and you're like, cool, I'm gonna
it's just like,
that's the past.
To be honest, we didn't release a lot of music, so like there's nothing there's not much, but I can speak to like even my own like WHOSHOTSCOTT project, like the older stuff that I'm like I cringe at now. I have some songs I'm like, why did I make that? That's so stupid. But
that's a
it's
good
just
example.
I could use that, like that's it's part of this, just accepting that was the truth at that moment in time. I was doing the best I could with the knowledge and the skills that I had, and I was being honest to myself at that time. Yes, now I look back, I'm like, why was I saying that? That's so cringe. Why did I choose that snare? Why did I choose this or that instrument? But like at that time, it was just the best I could do. And right now, I'm doing the best I can do. 5 years from now, hopefully I'll be upskilled. I would have upskilled, and I might look at this stuff and be like, oh well, I might have made a different decision. But the thing I can't sort of object against is that it's honest, and that's why the honesty is so important. It's like even for example, the first WHOSHOTSCOTT EP has like probably 2 songs on there that I would never in all my days think about like putting out today, but it's fine. That's where I was at, that's what I knew back then.
And you went through that to get here.
Exactly.
If you didn't have that person, this person wouldn't exist. And I think there are some like skills or things you pick up during that stage. Like there are songs like I do the same. I look back and I'm just like, oh, but then there'll be aspects of it. I'll be like, oh, that's when I like tried to do something new with my voice. It was cringy then, but that turned out to be
the thing that like,
got developed into what it is now. And I think there, even if it's like a slight aspect of like even opening up more about your story, for instance, or you were really honest on the lyric, and then it made you break down another wall and like
exactly.
But I love our old cringe selves. Thanks to them.
Everyone has a cringe self. Everyone has to start somewhere. That's another thing as well. It's like it's very easy for a young artist to look at like all these artists that are popping off and doing great things and be like, whoa, like I just want to be like that. But really, even they started somewhere, and it was also probably cringe and bad ideas and a whole bunch of just like experimentation and failing and succeeding a little bit and failing. It's like you have to start at some point, you know what I mean? So just choose to start and just move through it and just be like, cool, like I'm not gonna get hung up on things. Let's just keep it moving, just keep moving forward and looking forward as well. Like no need to look. I don't think there's any real point in like looking back. I really like once I've released like if I release like an album or something, I'm not listening to that. Like I don't care about like I'm done with that. I'm already on to the next thing. You know,
Baby's out.
Yeah, like yeah. It's like I've listened to it enough. Like it's cool,
Yeah.
but I'm moving on to the next thing. I'm kind of that kind of personality as well, where I always feel like I'm like a snake, where like I shed my skin, and I'm like I hate that like old version of me. Like I just like shed skin a
and
lot.
that's okay to
every
feel that
5
way.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Kind
think
of weird to
people
call myself
knowing
a snake, but
yeah, you're like,
I'm a snake.
maybe not in that way.
yeah. But I just
what about a caterpillar?
sure. I can be a caterpillar.
And turn
That's
to a
more
butterfly
accurate.
and
That's
then-
very much more accurate of my personality as well than a snake. But yeah,
I think you're more of a butterfly.
Oh yeah, cool.
Caterpillar,
I'll take a butterfly, sure. But yeah, just that's like shedding skin. And
I love that. So
moving
just
forward.
like you know, like encourage people to put out your songs, put out the like feel it out. I think, do you know what it's like? It's like people in their jobs, you know how they get better and better and better? It's like doing that but in the public eye.
Totally.
Or-
Yeah.
And by public eye I mean like even if it's a really small audience, even if it's just your family members and your friends on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, not Facebook, not Instagram, on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's just like you're doing that, which takes a lot of strength and like patience and a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah.
But it is like that's part of it.
Totally.
If you don't do that, then your music stays on your computer
Exactly,
forever, and you'll never have that first step.
Yeah. And really like another thing that's probably a really helpful perspective is that like people don't care about what you're doing that much. You know, even if you are kind of successful, like if you say you're like a artist that's like doing well, and then you release a song that nobody likes, people 5 years from now aren't going to remember that. They're going to remember the ones that they did like, you know. They're going to look at, even if you look back now at like the artists that we liked from like the 2010s or the 2000s or even the 90s, you know, and you're like, you don't think about their flops. You think about all their best songs, you know. So people do forget about the ones that didn't work or whatever, and no one's like holding on to remember, but you're not a good artist because you released this one song and you used the snare in the wrong key. Like no one's no one's
bringing up your past either. So if your music now that you've put out, and then say you pop off in like 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, 15 years or whatever, no one's going like out of their way to bring that like one you put out on Play It Strange, and then it went on Spotify, and then it went on the socials.
Only you know that, you know what I mean?
They're not gonna bring it up and be like, hey,
Yeah.
like you said, they're gonna just see
the new
like,
things
and who you are now.
Or the highlights, you know, the highlights of your career, you know, like what big songs you had and whatnot. And it's like, just it's kind of liberating to know that people aren't so focused on you, you know. And as artists, I think can get so like, oh my God, it's all about us, and everyone's watching. But it's really not. People are pretty concerned with their own lives. So
That's the best. That is so true. Who should artists reach out to when it comes to building their brand, do you think? Is there a few tips you've got for people?
Well, I mean, I've always thought that, like, and again, the artist should know who they are really well. So then, you know, finding collaborators. If it's, let's say, I mean, what is a brand, right? A brand is holistic for me. It's not just like a visual or anything. It's like, it's the way you sort of, for me, like a brand is what people feel about you outside of engaging with the stuff that you make. You know, it's like when you think of Nike, you think of like a brand that's like stands for something. It's got like certain ideals, you know, and it's like that's so we'll just speak on like a couple of things. Like if it was like visuals, for example, if you're a young artist and you don't say have much budget, like find a friend, you know what I mean? Find a homie that's like really good at what they do and like build with them, you know. Like I've always been like way more about that than being like, oh yeah, I need to, you know, find the hottest director, or even if like, you know, a lot of artists that don't produce, like, oh yeah, I want to like find the hottest producer and their album has like this producer and that producer and this, but then it's kind of like it doesn't glue together, you know. So just like there's something to be said about like finding people who are where you're at and building together, I think.
Reaching out to people around you, because they're the future of like.
Exactly. And you want to build with, you want to build consistently with the same people if it's aligned, you know, because that's what we were just saying before. Like it becomes that unspoken sort of thing where 5 years, like, you know, if I look at, you know, Connor and I, for example, just speaking on the visual side, there's really not much else other than me going to him, explaining my like concept, and then him sort of having at it, and he just gets it. There's no like, actually I don't like this, or I don't know. He's like, he just knows it. He knows that visual identity so well that it's like, I just give him my ideas and then it marries together now. And you kind of want to build that.
You built that though, you know, like, you know, and I'm sure those people you've worked with where you do and you're like, they're great, but it just didn't
Yes.
didn't mesh. So it's like the idea is like try people out, collaborating a lot with people around you, reach out to your peers and like people in the same creative field who are passionate about what they're doing.
Totally.
And it's not like, obviously it wouldn't have been the first person that you went to, Connor, and then boom, it was magic. Like you had to build that as well after maybe collaborating with quite a few people.
Yes, totally.
So
totally. And yeah, and
I think
there's people all around, you know, there's people that want to get in on the industry from like a very young age and in many different ways. It's like, I even say sometimes, like, if you're just starting out, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with your friend maybe managing you at the start just to handle some logistics on like a verbal agreement. But like, you know, like just like, you know, like building that team. And, you know, if you look, I mean, it's a very hip hop mentality, but like it's always about the crew, right? It's like my crew is who I'm like coming up with. And, you know, they sort of like have the graphic designer and the visuals person, and they have the manager and the person, you know, and it's like they come up together. And I've always thought that was really cool. It's not so practiced in other genres as much. I'm not sure if maybe in the electronic world or something, but I know in hip hop that's always been a thing, like building crew and then like succeeding together. And then like also a beautiful thing on top of that, it's another level, is like when you go into like getting opportunities, bringing in the crew, you know, it's like if I get something, you know, like that I could bring Connor in on, that's like outside of this, like I would love to bring him in, or like, you know, even the engineers that I work with, or and vice versa, if they need production, like they'll come to me, and it becomes that like little ecosystem
community.
It's really it's really
and
cool.
like, you know, when we're in like, say if you go to university or you're a student, you know, there's other people's, like you see people like working in, they're a film student, because I studied in uni, I'd be like go to the film students and, you know, we'd all collaborate, and I'd be like, hey, I'm in the studio making this, like I made this song, and then there'll be the music video, and it was like heaps of just, they're trying to upskill, you're trying to upskill, you're having fun, and it's again like fun is number one. I feel like in those times it's just
for sure,
you know, that's I think maybe people do that until they find the people that they enjoy working with. And what advice do you have though? Would you say, like, overall, what's like one thing you would say to especially up and coming artists, or like artists that have about to do their first ever release, when it comes to, especially when it comes to branding?
When it comes to branding,
because it can be a lot to think about, and it's a lot to, you can just be overwhelmed and just be like, oh, I just don't even want to do this. So what is something you would say to
starting?
Like,
it's hard because I feel like I have so many things to say at different like stages of an artist. But if we're talking just about an artist whose first release coming up, definitely getting the concept and the assets together for maybe a month before you want to release. Maybe a month or two after you've released. You know, obviously like the whole thing is like reels and TikToks and shorts now, so it's like creating stuff around that world, building that world, showcasing your music, being pretty unapologetic about how you do that, and like, you know, always getting it out there, I suppose. But creating basically enough, maybe stacking some content around what you want to release, the song, and different angles you can talk about. Maybe it's like the song sounds like this, cool, so we'll lean into what this it sounds like, but then there's a story there, cool, we'll lean into the story, but then there's this cool video concept, cool, so we'll lean into the video. There's just like you find all these like touch points to talk about and try to pull as much out of it as you can. And especially if it starts working, then you want to keep doing that. And then the other thing is that if it doesn't work, which it very likely won't if it's your first release, although there is that thing as well about like someone's first release, people are all like, ooh, excited about but then your second release maybe not so much and stuff, and just being like, cool, just keep it moving, like just keep doing that over and over, and don't get caught up on like which ones don't do well. Just like when something does well, take that information, apply it on the business sense. Don't let, I would never apply it creatively, but on the business sense, like definitely use that information to dictate how much you want to like spend perhaps on marketing it and pushing it. I'm a big, you know, I do a lot of marketing as well, so like for myself, so you know, I'm always like looking at what's doing well and trying to like experiment a lot with that to try to continue to kind of catch fish in the net of like people that resonate with my music, you know. That's
so cool. And like showing their process, I think, as well.
There you go.
Like when they're in the recording it or writing it, just 100%. Thinking like, I guess content around content.
Just
C word.
The BTS. I mean, like the thing is this, and it's like, and you know, I have to admit, I'm also, you know, I fail at this a lot till today, where it's like I don't necessarily get as much content as I think I should and all that, but you know, the fact of the matter is your music is awesome, and it's like, it's great. And, you know, of course we want people to like come on board and support what we're doing based off the merit of our music. But I always think about like my favorite artists and stuff like that. I'm always going on YouTube searching up their interviews and like their BTS stuff. I want to know who they are because it adds that value. It adds so much more value to the art. It gives you so much more of a point of reference and context as to who this person is. So you know, it is important. It's just like finding ways that feel comfortable and sustainable. I suppose it's like things that make sense long term. You know, what can you sustain for years to come? You know, yeah.
And you get into a flow.
Yeah. Just keep doing it. Yeah.
It's amazing advice.
I got so much more, but it's probably not enough time.
Get your stuff out there.
Yeah. Don't sign to a major label without a manager. Don't sign to a major label without.
Read your contracts.
Yeah, read your contracts.
There's good contracts out there.
Yeah, retain ownership as much as possible.
Yeah,
lots of things. Yeah, but that's like obviously I think that's like a level.
Don't think about
Yeah, that's
like,
also like a level later after you've already like sort of got into.
I mean, I guess in these times as well, like there is a lot of with the platforms we have and social media, and there has been cases of like I've known people in high school, their song pops off and they're viral.
Yeah.
And I guess if it comes to that, then that's when you deal with that. You know, and it's that's when you're going to be approached by so many people, and it's what you do with that moment, because a lot of people can either not do anything with that moment, and that moment might not happen again because it is just pure gold marketing moment to take and but also there will be a lot of I guess like offers, and I think maybe that's probably more common now amongst like
the younger generation,
like people in high school, probably high school or uni, and it's the second release and it's viral and it's popped off, which is great. It's just not being overwhelmed by that, I guess, and then like finding like you said, like read your contracts, like get a manager, get a lawyer.
We get all that, because it's very, very sad how many times I've seen people that weren't like ready for the level of like attention and like success, that's quote unquote success that came their way, and just weren't able to handle it, you know. And it's sad. It's really sad, especially because like most of the time they're very like talented artists, but part of that is that they're very sensitive as well, you know. And so it's like, and that's when you get the stories of the industry this and the industry that, and you know, and it's like, no, it's not really like that necessarily, but
timing.
You just timing, and just like accepting that like it's a 10-year grind at least, I'd say. Like just be ready for 10 years of this, because that's really what it takes, you know. And if you're willing to do it for 10 years and more, then like, you know, then maybe that's the natural vetting process that allows the people who are successful, you know, your Sabrina Carpenters and such, to like reach that level, you know. All your favorite people, it looks like they popped out of nowhere, but they have at least minimum 10-year grind behind 100%.
Minimum.
100%. Yeah, totally. And if it's like, you know, if you're looking at them and just thinking, hey, I'm not there or whatever, and getting down on that, then you're kind of like, it's not a very realistic expectation. You need to be like willing to kind of climb those steps from scratch, because that's literally what they did too. You know, everyone started off from there. Everything can be learned. All the skills are out there. All the resources are out there. Don't worry about where you're starting from. Just like move forward unapologetically.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, likewise.
Man, that was
cool.
Awesome chats.
Deep chats.
High five.